Alright, good morning. How's everybody doing? So we're going to talk about another movie that I kind of like. My phone is shut up. Everybody wants to talk to me all at once. Yeah, that's good. Girlfriend likes my movie reviews. She just found them on YouTube. So everybody else, you're going to have to comment on my movies to say hi to the girlfriend. Anyway, so now we're going to do another one. It's Michael J. Fox movie coming from Beverly Hills, moving to Washington, D.C., and gets stuck in a small town because he crashed his car. If you're a movie fan, you know which one it is. It's an old Porsche 911 he crashed. 1965 version, actually. Round body, no top. He plays a Beverly Hills snot-nosed puppy doctor, according to the movie. It came out in 1991, and it's called Doc Hollywood. It's what do they call it? A romantic comedy. Romantic action filler. She's going nuts now. Somebody's crazy, and we'll see what's going on. I'll get back to her after I do this movie review. But anyway, so I like this movie. This was interesting. So the doctor, he gets a job from Beverly Hills, or from Washington, D.C. hospital, Ben Stone as they called him. He's driving to Beverly Hills for his new job interview with a noted plastic surgeon, because he's going to become a plastic surgeon. Old Doc Hollywood did. Somewhere in South Carolina, he runs into road construction and crashes his car into the judge's fence of the small town. He gets sentenced to X amount of hours, 32 hours at community service at the town's medical clinic, because he's a doctor and they needed a doctor. And so they got him running around doing house calls, doing pigs. He meets a pretty lady there who drives the ambulance. They called her Lou, that he eventually falls in love with. He gets put in a cab and wakes up with Lou skinny dipping in his dreams, and then finds her in the front yard under a quilt they called a marriage blanket or memory blanket. First person you see after you get woke up after sleeping under it is the person you're going to marry. So he saves a pig. He does a lot of doctoring, does a lot of driving around in an old ambulance, old hearse that's converted into an ambulance. It's a real good movie for when they did it. Oh, and I was wrong on the Porsche. It was a 1956 Porsche Spider. I got it wrote down here in my notes, but I'm going faster through the notes than going on. So he sits there and plays doctor in the whole town. It's a good movie. I liked it. And then he's got jealousy from another guy trying to get the pretty lady that drives the ambulance, Lou, and from a guy named Hank, and they have a squash festival going on there, and the mechanics that are working putting his car together, because they tore the whole motor apart, tore the whole car apart. All they had to do was fix body work, but they had to fix the motor too, because I guess he destroyed it or hurt it. My back's starting to hurt, so I got to get repositioned. All that slouching for a long time does it. Anyway, so he ends up they end up tearing his car apart, which takes longer, and he's doing his 32 hours of community service, and he gets clocked in and out every time he goes in and out of the hospital. Doctors on staff. It's more for the lady at the desk to know he's there than anything else. And he's got to do 32 hours at the clinic, so it's a good way to track his hours too, how much time he spends there. Towards the end, the old Doc Hogue, he saves his life, and a couple other incidences where he gets Doc Hogue out of bed to come down and help him out. It turned out to be a pretty good comedy movie. Saving pigs, jumping fish, fireworks show, squash festival. It's one of those that you really got to watch. He came endeared with the townsfolk because he's the only doctor, and a lot of doctoring he did wasn't really doctoring. It was reading books for those who couldn't read, reading letters for those who couldn't read, listening to family problems, being a town counselor. So when he ends up leaving, he destroys his car because the circus truck runs it over. It's a weird twist. It's pretty good, but it's a weird twist. Then he ends up deciding he's going to stay, and the whole town sends him to Los Angeles with a plane ticket. And she says before they send him off, she says she's going to marry Hank because he's safe and he's there. And yeah, it turned out to be a tearjerker right there at the end. And then he's over there in L.A. doing plastic surgery after he got the job, and then he misses the little town in South Carolina, so eventually he ends up going back after Hank and the other lady and the other girl in the show, the mayor's daughter, show up with his car, and he ends up going back and to the one pig town and rescuing the pig from the butcher again, and they're living happily ever after with Lou. According to the movie, that's the way it happened. Them's the facts. Turned out to be a pretty good movie, and I definitely recommend you watch this one over and over and over and over again. Should be on your date night video selection just about every time you do a date night, because it is a romantic comedy, and the way they did the movie was great, even from 1991. So this movie was distributed by Warner Brothers, and it was from August 2nd, 1991. It ran 103 minutes. Okay, well then they were putting Michael J. Fox in every movie they could get him into because he had Parkinson's disease, and they didn't expect him to live very long. He's still alive. United States was English. The budget was $20 million, and it made $54.8 million at the box office, which was pretty good for them days. They're not spending $208 million or $550 million to do the movie. And basically, it was just renting out the small town or making the small town, and working out the whole logistics of all the people in it. So that turned out to be a pretty good movie. Like I say, I definitely recommend you watching that sucker over and over again. But Michael J. Fox movies were pretty good, because he had that interesting charisma that made him interesting. Anyway, so we'll talk to you later. Bye now. Be safe. See you on the next one.